In the world of Diablo, angels and demons fight for control in the eternal conflict.
The trap at last is sprung.
Let's just say the world isn't just full of sunshine and rainbows. I'm Jason with Curse, here to bring you some of the saddest stories in the Diablo franchise.
Will stop you. No one can stop death.
Farnham was once a citizen of the city of Tristram. He was present during King Leoric's descent into madness, and was one of the citizens recruited by Lazarus to delve into the Tristram Cathedral after Prince Albrecht went missing. Unfortunately for Farnum, Lazarus had decided to lead the townsfolk into a very large, very angry butcher demon. Farnum managed to survive this encounter, but he was wounded. His physical wounds were later healed, but the mental scars never went away. His mind and spirit shattered.
Big Cleaver, killing all my friends. Couldn't stop him, had to run away. Couldn't save them. Trapped in a room with so many bodies, so many friends. No!
This led Farnum finding solace only in liquor, drowning himself away. During some of his drunken stupors, he would find himself headed back into that hellish cathedral in search of his daughter. Eventually, he did manage to find her and return her alive to the surface. But this was not to last, as he was greeted by Deckard Cain and Prince Aidan. Seeing that the daughter could not be saved and might rise again, Cain instructed Aidan to give her peace. Aidan did eventually manage to defeat Diablo in the cathedral, but there was no solace for Farnum or the town of Tristram. After Aidan left Tristram as the Dark Wanderer, demons would descend upon the town, and Farnum was butchered along with the rest. From one of humanity's greatest enemies to one of its staunchest defenders, Tyrael, Archangel of Justice.
Greetings, mortal.
Tyrael once held that humanity was an abomination that required destruction. During the First Sin War, when the high heavens discovered Sanctuary, he stopped at nothing to ensure that the forces of hell could not use humanity to further their evil goals. Tyrael even stooped so low as to use assassins and lies to betray the humans that would trust him. This was all in an effort to sow as much chaos as possible before the heavenly host would arrive and destroy them. However, this all changes after Uldyssian defeated Inarius and cast out both demons and angels from Sanctuary. During the vote held afterwards, where the Angiris Council decided what to do about the situation, Tyrael realized humanity's potential and joined his vote with Auriel and Ithuriel to save them. And, over the years, despite both the High Heavens and Burning Hells having a non-interference policy with Sanctuary, Tyrael would consistently defy orders and help out humanity, often countering the forces of evil. After Belial and Asmodan made their appearance on Sanctuary, Tyrael promised humanity that they would not fight the darkness alone, but Imperius had discovered his transgressions, and despite Tyrael's pleas was unmoved. Furious at Tyrael for disobeying the council, the two came to blows before Tyrael did the unthinkable. He tore off his wings, becoming mortal in the process, falling from heaven and forever sacrificing his divinity to save humanity. If you've kept up with the Diablo franchise, then you're probably familiar with the blacksmith, Heydrich, an instrumental part of the Nephilim's quest, but his own past is mired in tragedy. As a young boy, Heydrich lived with his father in Chaldeum. They were well-to-do, with his father being a diplomat and grandfather serving King Leoric. However, during King Leoric's madness, his grandfather was blamed as the presence behind it. Despite attempts to dispel the rumors, one night a crazed band of refugees from Tristram arrived at the manor in Chaldeum and attacked. Haedrig managed to escape, but just before he was thrown from a window, he looked back only to find his father with 2 daggers in his back, and another at his throat. Sometime after he fled Chaldeum, Heydrich would meet his wife Mira, and they were happy for a time, but it was not to last. They had made a life in New Tristram right as the fallen star fell, reviving the dead and spreading sickness. Unfortunately, Mira had been infected and thrown into a cellar with the rest of the living dead.
Heydrich, help me!
and Heydrich was forced to slay her and the rest of the Turned with the Nephilim's help. And then there was the child born only to fulfill Diablo's plans, Leah, daughter of Adrian the Wanderer, adopted niece of Deckard Cain. From an early age, Leah would know pain and suffering. Tristram would fall to the forces of hell, forcing Adria and Leah to escape to Chaldean with a barmaid by the name of Gillian. But as soon as they had arrived there, Adria would depart and leave Gillian to care for the infant Leah. But due to Gillian's exposure to the demons of hell, she was not always able to function in a normal capacity, let alone raise a child not her own. And even as society noticed how eccentric Gillian was, that stigma was passed to Leah, regarding her as an unlucky child. Furthermore, Leah was bullied during her childhood. She was nicknamed Sewer Rat due to her rampant exploration of the sewers beneath the city. And through this time, Gillian never told her of her parents. But those parents were very important. She would inherit their powers and also the demonic energy of Diablo, and when her power manifested, she was forced to learn to cope with it from an early age. She often suffered from nightmares, prophetic glimpses of the future, and memories of the past. Memories of angels and demons. Memories that were not her own. Eventually, Deckard Cain would come to rescue the poor Leah. He would become a father figure in her life, teaching her many things and bringing her along on his journeys. This carried on for a number of years until Tyrael fell from heaven into the Tristram Cathedral. Cain was inside the cathedral at that time and became trapped, and furthermore, Belial was aware of Tyrael's arrival, sending minions to go and collect whatever they could. His lieutenant Magda led the charge, attempting to collect shards of Tyrael's sword, but was fought off by Leah and the Nephilim until at last Magda took Cain as a hostage to try and negotiate. In the ensuing conflict, Cain would succumb to his injuries, bringing great sadness to everyone who knew him, but Leah most of all. Eventually, Leah would find herself in the presence of her mother once again. As Adria instructed her on how to use her dark powers, she would grow more powerful. She began taking the steps to act as the final, perfect vessel by sealing Belial in the Black Soulstone. Her nightmares became more horrific, her prophetic visions becoming more disturbing, and the Black Soulstone became ever harder to control. Eventually, with the defeat and sealing of Azmodan, her mother Adria showed her true colors by turning the Soul Stone on Leah. Finally realizing that she had been conceived by Diablo for this purpose so long ago, and faced with the unrelenting fury of the seven evils, her mind shattered. Her body was then possessed by Diablo himself as the long-awaited prime evil. Tristram is a rather well-known town to the players of the Diablo franchise, but is somewhat more infamous than the characters in it. In ancient times, the Haedrich had slain the three elder demon brothers, Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo. They were sealed away in soul stones, with Diablos being held far underground in the Tristram Cathedral. A great deal of time passed until Leoric had come from Kyrgyzstan to the Honduras, declared himself king, and made Tristram his seat of power. Unknown to him, Diablo's soulstone still remained here and would attempt to possess Leoric. Diablo's influence was so potent, Leoric became more and more insane over time, declaring war on Westmarch, slaughtering the townsfolk, and beheading his wife via guillotine. Leoric would be dethroned in a rather violent manner, but it was not long before Tristram would suffer more horrors. Demons soon attacked the town, and the once holy cathedral became a place of dark cults and rituals. Many adventurers descended into the cathedral in search of loot or adventure, though far fewer actually returned. Many of the townsfolk left during this period, though some did decide to stay and weather the storm. Leoric's eldest son, Aiden, would eventually brave the depths of the cathedral to put a stop to Diablo's influence and was successful for a time. However, as soon as Aiden left the town as the Dark Wanderer, poor Tristram was again invaded by demons. This time there were only a small handful of survivors. The once prosperous town of Tristram had been dealt its final blow, and was reduced to smoldering ruins, and the hellish stories of Tristram traveled far and wide. If you're interested in content like this, keep an eye out here for more, and be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out DiabloFans.com for other Diablo-related information. I'm Jason with Curse saying thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.